Happy Wednesday. Welcome to episode 6, Callie told me, of the Midweek Pit Stop. We're actually joined by Ben today. Ben, put your hand on the screen. And he's actually there. Every other time, what you don't know is we've yelled at Ben is he has not been here recording with us, but we've told him his shoes are untied. And he finds out later that he was in the video, even though he was never here. But we're on episode 6 of the Midweek Pit Stop. We've got a special guest. We know her as Callie, Calliehan, Callie. You might know her as the singer on the right side of the stage. She knows herself as Callahan.
Yeah.
Spelled Callahan.
Yeah.
Callahan. But thanks for joining us, Callie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and buy a sticker, which Callie also told me when I asked her if she bought a sticker that she doesn't have anywhere to put it, and her phone case is too basic. Show the people your phone case. Wait, you like how clean it is?
Yeah, I like
simple?
it goes with
It's simple when there's just lines all over the place? That makes it simple?
Well, it's just like, I don't know.
Because it's consistent.
And it's neutral. It goes with like anything.
You know, I've been watching Criminal Minds. I think that makes you a sociopath. I'm just kidding.
I don't think it does.
Just kidding. All right, I got some questions for you. The first one, what's your least favorite food?
I'm not super picky, but probably mushrooms.
Callie makes a mean chocolate chip cookie, by the way, people. Mushrooms, taste or texture?
I guess both. It's just not appealing to me. They look gross too.
But so if let's say you ordered a pepperoni pizza, it's the middle of a snowstorm, you order a pepperoni pizza, it gets to you like an hour and a half later because of the snowstorm so bad, you're starving, it's pepperoni and mushrooms. Can you pick them off and eat it?
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I'll throw up if there's black olives or green olives.
It's food, and so I'll just eat it. Like, I don't feel like it's tainted my food at all. I'll just like whatever.
When I was in the Philippines, do you know what they eat as a delicacy?
What?
What do they call that, Ben? Balut. It's a duck 1 day away from hatching that they abort the duck egg and they eat it. So when you open the egg, you see a duck head and feathers and everything, but that's just food, so you'd eat it?
I don't know if I could.
So they crack the top off, they drink the juice, and then they peel it and they eat it. Sometimes you can like feel the beak and the feathers and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, next question. What's your most embarrassing moment? This has been my favorite question I've asked everybody.
I feel like I've had a lot, but I just can't remember them. I've chosen to like forget about them.
That
but I guess
that traumatic, huh?
the most recent, I'd say it was falling when I sat on the hanging chairs.
That was like, if that's your most embarrassing moment, that's not that
no,
bad.
recently that I can remember.
You don't have any, like, you remember like where Adria, like she was in the middle of math class and just farted because she fell asleep, or Malachi when he farted during a tornado, an active shooter, whatever it was. Nothing?
I don't know. There probably is. I just don't remember. I have a terrible memory.
Okay. Last question. And I feel like you'll definitely know this. What's your biggest pet peeve?
I don't know. I feel like there's just minor things that I don't like.
There's not just something that people do that just like...
I'm really bad at thinking about that stuff. Like, off the top of my head, one thing I don't like is when people try to make everything about themselves. Like,
So you don't like narcissism?
Sure. Like, when there's something else going on and they make it about them, I'm
Fair
just like,
enough.
that's not what we need to be worrying about right now.
You know what I found out Adria doesn't like? You know, like Sherpa material, like those really fuzzy sweatshirts? She doesn't like the feeling after you've washed and dried them and then like dry skin touching it. She hates that feeling. She also has to have lotion as soon as she like, if she takes a shower, she has to have lotion because she like can't put socks on. Like she can't touch socks and clothes if her hands don't have lotion on it.
Oh, I've just gotten in a habit of putting lotion on, like, because I have dry skin, but it's not like I have to.
So there's nothing that's just like when people...
I hate when they chew with their mouth open. Like, not to call my sister out or anything, but she kind of does that.
She chews with her mouth open?
It's just, I hate when I can hear people chew too.
So
like,
it's not the seeing it, it's the hearing it.
Yeah.
Like you hear...
Because it makes gross noise. Okay, that doesn't bother me because I do that to people. like I make those noises in the mic during like worship practice. I'll just randomly do it.
Weird.
But it's like
Musicians are weird people.
Thanks.
Worship teams, right, Ben? Weirdos. Because they're different. They're different cookies. No, I'm just kidding. I love it's creative. That's what I've never been able to like. They just laugh at things that I don't think are funny. They just like see something and like ha, ha. And then I'm like, what was so funny? They're like, we all got it. You didn't. I was like, no, I didn't.
I kind of just laugh at anything now. Like, it also depends on my mood, but normally I'll laugh at anything. So, okay, I can see you're trying to make me laugh.
Okay, let's talk about this last Sunday night. We've been in Bringing Sexy Back, the series. Ben created that name. No, he didn't. Me and Ben talked about names, though, and we couldn't come up with a good one, and then we landed on that one. But we're on part 2. We talked about singleness, which I know when people heard me say that, they thought, like people like you probably thought, I'm not single.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot of people who are like, well, not everybody's in a season of singleness. To which I said everybody in the entire room, minus the adult leaders who are married, aren't in a season of singleness because even if you're engaged, which nobody was, but if you were to go to the H&R Block in Marshall and visit my tax guy, Jim, and he would say, are you filing as married or single? There is no option for dating. You're married or single. So until she's got the wedding ring on it or he's got the wedding ring on it, you're in a season of singleness. So I think it was a message that applied to everybody. I had 2 big ideas, 2 points, secret sauce and from the ground up. And so I got a couple questions I want to ask you about in your experience walking through it and just see what you have to say. So the first one was talking about if there was – hey, did you just see, by the way, that McDonald's is coming out with a chicken sandwich? Did you see that, Ben?
No, I haven't seen that.
So McDonald's is like joining the hype train of chicken sandwiches. And I don't know, tomorrow they're releasing like you can get online and buy like a bundle and they're selling McDonald's chicken sandwich hoodies for $5.
Hoodies?
And I don't know how to get it, but I'm going to try. Like I want a chicken sandwich. So they're joining the hype train. But we talked about, of course, the chicken sandwich. I said what sets Chick-fil-A above the rest of the chicken sandwiches is Chick-fil-A sauce. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A sauce is so fire.
It is really good.
But I talked about how in relationships, in general, all relationships, if we don't love God and love ourselves, it's really hard to love people. Yeah. So my question to you is, have you ever experienced that? Like, it's really hard to love other people when you're not loving God and loving yourself well.
Yeah. Especially, like, now I'm in a place where I feel more confident in myself and who I am. Like, obviously, there's still a way to go. But, like, even when you guys first got here, I was, like, not confident whatsoever, especially in my singing.
I kind of want to find a picture of Callie when we first got here. Go ahead, keep talking.
But, yeah, like, I just remember having a hard time, like, being able to be friendly to other people and actually, like, be genuine about it.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm, like, a moody teenager, so that's it, too. But, like, it's easier for me to be able to love people now because I, like, love who I am.
Have you been able to notice, like, coming in, like, okay, so let's say you're in one of those seasons where you're, like right after camp, you're really loving God, and then can you tell, even, like, based on how you view people and how you treat people, like, when you step back, like, whoa, maybe I'm not where I should be with the Lord right now, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I noticed that a lot with my, like, relationship with my mom, too. Because, like, you can ask her. I am not the nicest human being to her. Nasty. No.
I don't know if you can see that, but that's Callie at camp.
Ew.
I'll try to insert this picture.
No, do not.
She's got braces on, doing the double thumbs up.
I still do that. But.
Anyway.
Yeah, so my mom is, like, one of those people, like, I can tell when I'm not in a great place. I'm just, like, I have very low patience already. And then... like, just adding not loving myself and stuff like that and being in a good place with God, it just, like, goes downhill.
Yeah. And I think, too, and you would probably attest to this, that and maybe, like, I don't know if you have a story off, this is literally off the top of your head, but have you found it hard to, like, celebrate other people when you're dealing with an insecurity of your own?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, I still have a hard time with that, like, with my friends and stuff like that. Sometimes I feel like it's not as genuine.
Yeah.
Like, I am happy for them, but then I'm like, man, I wish.
Yeah.
Like, kind of, I don't know if I should say names, but just like Malachi and I, we have a lot of boundaries right now in our relationship. Like, so seeing other people our age being able to like go out on a date on their own is like, I'm like, man, that's exciting, but I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
But I've kind of gotten over that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
I think even for me, like, and Ben, maybe you've experienced this too. I'm actually talking to Ben today. This is so exciting. We've got a third person in the room. But in my shoes, when I have felt really insecure, and it comes in waves sometimes, as like a communicator, and I hear somebody else who's like I would consider at the same level as me, like get complimented on doing something, for me it's hard to celebrate them because I'm like insecure in my own self to be able to celebrate where they're at. And so I think that's where it comes back to, like, when you do love God, it's a lot easier to love yourself because you have God's perspective for who you are. Like, you know, like, okay, God, you know, God doesn't judge me on whether I'm a good communicator or not. Even in like relationships, like then you ask the question, like, well, why do we have boundaries? Because we really are trying our best to honor God. So like when it comes back to that, which I think, was that this week or last week when I asked, I think it was the week before, when the question like to ask was, does this glorify God?
Yeah, I think that was a week before.
And it's such a great question. Okay, so the next part was about, like, from the ground up, talking about building a house. And I'm not a builder, but I know enough to know that they don't start with the upstairs, and they don't. They build from the foundation. Have you yourself ever tried to build in the wrong order?
I'm sure I have. It's like hard to see right now.
Well, I think it's even what you just talked about. I think too, because I know Adria well. I know girls, especially when they're like dating, and then someday when you hit the engaged stage, like Pinterest and Instagram, you see like these things and you start wishing you were there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you see Sadie Robertson get engaged, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so magical. Yeah. And then you see her barn wedding that she did, and you're like, oh my God. And it's just like, so have you found yourself like ever thinking like, I want to be where they're at, right? Like,
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Like the last couple of months especially, and that's like, last week I had to like fast social media again and stuff like that, and I still am right now, just to kind of like stop comparing my relationships or my situations with all these other people that aren't telling the full story. I
was reading a book, and it's a book on Gen Z, and it was talking about how you guys' anxiety levels right now, where they're at, like on a scale, are where I think it was a sociopath's anxiety levels would be in the 1980s. Just like or a psychopath or sociopath, where their anxiety level would be all the time, because of where they were mentally. That's where Gen Z is like living. So you guys aren't all sociopaths because that's what you've grown up in. But what this author recommended was, if you can get teenagers to learn to just, when they feel a lot of anxiety, shut off social media. That's going to be the best thing for them. Yeah. Because you live in a world where you can see the best of everybody. And let's see how long it takes for me to open my phone. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. 3 seconds I was on Instagram and instantly looking at everybody, their best life. Like, oh man, look at there's Reggie Hill. He's bowling this Friday at GRC Bowling. Like, man, I want to go bowling. Like, it's so easy to just open up Instagram and want to be where somebody else is at. And I think that even goes to, I wrote one of my questions down is that, how have you worked through the comparison trap? Obviously, you just said, like, you've said, I need to fast social media, which I think is huge. Yeah. How else have you done that? Is there people in your life who help you? Is there things that you do that?
Well, definitely Adria has helped me with that, because, like, she's my mentor, and so I can go to her and talk to her about that stuff. And I've found, like, we're both really similar. So, like, but she's older than me, so she's gone through it. Yeah. So she's able to help give me advice on that. And just, like, I know, like, everyone tells you go to God with that stuff. And, like, it's true. It's hard sometimes because, like, you don't want to always, like, be like, God, I need help with this again. Like, yeah. But just really trying to put that at God's feet. And also, like, sometimes you have to, like, fake it a little bit in a way, like, even if you don't believe it, like, you'll see someone and you are wishing for this future or something like that, and you want that, you have to be like, okay, hold on, like, you're 15. Well, that's how old I am. So, like, I'm 15. Hold on. You have a whole life ahead of you, and I have to keep telling myself that until I really believe it.
I heard Stephen Furtick say it's not faking it, it's faithing it. Like, it's not fake what you're doing. It's saying, like, hey, I believe what God says, and because I believe that, I'm just going to have faith that what he has for me is what's best for me.
Yeah.
Moving forward. Okay, last question. Are you ready for it? This is a deep one.
Okay.
It's not really that deep. How do you personally work on developing a good foundation? Like, not working on the first floor, but how do you work on right now in the season of singleness, developing a really, really good foundation?
Well, if I'm being honest, like, I've been doing a really bad job of it. So, like, but right now, just, like, starting off with limiting distractions and things that get in my way, so then I can really focus on God and what he's trying to talk to me about. And I deal with, like, a lot of fear. So just sitting down and, like, taking a couple deep breaths, talking to God, and just even when I'm not feeling like it, because, like, I feel like I never push myself. I'm terrible at pushing myself to do things.
Yeah.
So I've just had to, like, kind of get better. Worship is, like, a big thing and a big part of my life. I have a hard time focusing when it comes to prayer. So, and, like, reading the word, I don't like reading. So worship is, like, even if I don't go and do those things exactly.
Yeah.
So just listening to the words and maybe singing my own song and, like, just kind of declaring over my life, like,
That's great.
there will be a point where you're not going to be struggling with this.
Yeah. I watched a video today of a parking complex in Texas and a bunch of cars. It wasn't like a parking complex, sorry. It was like at an apartment complex where you could park underneath of a roof, like all the cars, in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. And they just got hit with, like, a snowstorm, and the roof fell on the top of all the cars. And the person was saying, like, they built this in Texas without ever anticipating that snow would come. But when the weight of that snow came, when the weight of the storm, it collapsed.
Yeah.
And so I think, like what you're saying, like, even now, though, building a foundation strong right now, even though what you're building it for is yet to come. Like, it's not here yet. And doing what you said, worshiping, praying, like, start off, like, make it your goal to pray 5 minutes every day or 3 minutes every day. Like, praying 1 minute today would be better than praying for no minutes. Like, even if you're like, well, 1 minute's pointless. No, like, 1 minute's your starting block to get, and even reading the word. Like, I always tell people it's about quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you read, like, there's people who read the Bible, like, one time through a year who hate God, like, they're atheists. Like, I'd rather have you read one verse and really think on that and go, like, God, what are you saying to me in that, than read the entire Bible in a day. Like, that doesn't do anything.
For a while, like, right before I go to sleep, I've kind of tried to make it a habit, just, like, as I close my eyes, because my thoughts get the best of me when I'm trying to go to sleep. So just, like, praying to God and thanking him and talking to him about my day, like, as I fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'll fall asleep while I'm doing it, but, like, I can't remember who said it. You might have said this once too, but
Are you, like, talking about falling asleep in your dad's arms?
Yeah, like, they're not going to be mad at you. Like, you're spending time with them, even, like, it's the quality of it. Like,
yeah.
It may have only been a minute, but it helps.
Hey, if Liv comes and climbs up in my lap, which she's never done this because she hates sleeping, but, like, she just wants to party all the time. But if she ever were to just climb up into my lap and fall asleep, I wouldn't get mad at her. I can tell you that much. I'd be like, I'm glad you knew where to come to fall asleep, like, in the place of protection and safety and comfort. So that's good. Any last thoughts, Callie, from this last Sunday?
There was one thing you said about, like, sometimes when you have to invest in God, you lose something. And, like, I don't, like, a lot of fear lately has been getting to me about losing people in my life, or, like, losing the things I care about. So I've had to, like last week, I had to invest more of my time with God and kind of have a restart in my relationship and really focus on God and invest my time in him. And that involved losing social media for a little while and not being able to hang out with people. But I've come out better from it. And
that's what I love. When you invest in the Lord you never come out having lacked anything. Like, even though you're like initially like, man, like I have to lose time, you come out going, I may have lost time with people, but my soul's at ease.
Yeah.
Because I could spend a lot of time with people and still fall asleep every night going like my heart racing, my mind racing, but like
Exactly.
it's priceless. I almost said unpriceable. It's priceless to be able to say, like, I may have lost spending time with people and looking at other people on social media, but what I gained surpasses that by a landslide. So that's good. Thanks for joining us today, Callie.
Yeah.
Do you want to roast Malachi?
I'm not good at that, so no.
You did have a very good original Valentine's Day pickup line. Can you share it with everybody one more time?
Sure. Are you a drummer? Because you make my heart beat.
There it is. Thanks for joining this week's episode of the Midweek Pit Stop. Like, subscribe, buy a sticker on Sunday. Come Sunday night, it's part 3 of Bringing Sexy Back. We can't wait to see you. Have a great rest of your week. And stay warm because it's freezing cold outside.
Yes.
God bless you.